And I can't stress enough how important it is. A personal injury case is normally a life-changing event. And so you really want to be particular and selective on the firm that you hire to handle that case. Here in Florida, we see them on all the billboards, all of the commercials, and it seems like everywhere you look, you see them, right? So they're constantly flashing the big numbers, talking about how many lawyers they have. But here's the reality. If you have a personal injury case, you have options. And so what's best for you? In this video, we're going to talk about three things. One is we're going to talk about the factory firm model versus the tailored firm approach. Two, we're going to talk about what I call the attorney lottery. And then three, we're going to talk about real case results involving both of these models. So topic number one, the factory firm model versus the tailored firm approach. This is how I generally describe it. You have a fast food restaurant, and that fast food restaurant has a proven way of doing things, but it's the same menu, the same food, the same process. And really the goal there is speed. They're trying to get you in, get you out, and give you some food that's really good enough. And compare that to your favorite local restaurant. They're kicking out high-end food, but there's also a very big difference in the experience itself. You walk in, you feel welcome. Maybe some of the staff members know your name, or at least you recognize their face. When they take your order, they're really listening to what you say. They're making sure that they understand exactly how you want your meal cooked, exactly what sides you want. They're going to do substitutions on the sides, and they're not going to nickel and dime you. And at the end of that meal, you walk out and you feel heard and taken care of. And oh, by the way, it's always one of the best meals that you've had every single time. So that's really the difference between the factory firm approach and the tailored firm approach. And so here's the kicker as it relates to a personal injury case. A personal injury case is not like a meal, right? This is something that's serious. It's affecting your health and your future and your financial stability in the future. This is a really, really big decision. And you want to make sure that you choose a firm that's going to listen to you and tailor the approach on your case specifically to what's best for you. And so, yes, the factory firms are everywhere. And maybe because they're everywhere, they feel safe, right? Well, they're all over the TV and the billboards, and so they must know what they're doing, right? But here's the other problem. Yes, they may have dozens or even hundreds of lawyers that work for them, but they're taking in thousands and even tens of thousands of cases a year. And the reality is they just don't have the time to do anything other than the fast food model, right? Because they've got to take care of all these cases. And so they need a proven model to do it the same way every time. And really, they're just trying to get good enough. So with the tailored firm model, one thing that's important to understand is case selection, right? And so one thing that we hear a lot from people who aren't in our world is they're like, oh, the big factory firms, they only take big cases, right? And that's actually not true. The tailored firm approach, we actually have a much stricter criteria for the cases that we do take than the big factory firms. The big factory firms are kind of taking any and all cases, whereas at the tailored firm, we're really, really selective in the cases that we do take. And that's because we want to be able to give 110% to those cases that we do take to maximize the result and the experience for those clients, because we truly feel that's what they deserve. And so our last talking point here is discussing some real case examples. I'm not going to use any specific names here, but these are real cases. And so I've got two for you that I think are instructive in understanding the tailored firm approach as compared to the factory firm approach. The first case is a case that we took over. And so a factory firm had that case for about a year and a half, maybe approaching 2 years at the time that we took the case over. There was an offer on the table that the factory firm had got, and we took the case over. We immediately dove in, triaged the case. We identified just a number of things that had not been done on that case that honestly we do in just our normal process. And we do these things in every single case. And then we did identify a few things that are kind of very specific to that case. And so over the first 3 or 4 months that we had that case, we did all those things that we identified in our triage, right? And so about the 4.5 month mark, we actually settled that case for a number that was like 3.5 times the offer that the factory firm had got on the table after 18 months of work. So the second case that I want to discuss is a case, again, we took it over from one of the larger firms here in Florida. This client was not happy with the experience at the large Florida firm that we took it over from. And so, again, we jump in, we triage the case. We see that the big Florida firm has tried to settle this case for like $750,000. We just simply didn't believe that was anywhere near enough. And again, I want to make clear here, they had sent a settlement offer for $750,000. And so in our world, if you're sending a first offer, that means you'll actually take much less on the case than that. So I think they had it for about 10 months when we took over. And so again, we get in, we identify, okay, this is our specific tailored case plan. This is what we're going to do to really take care of this client. And so this one took a little bit longer than the one we just talked about. And so we had it for about a year. And so over that year, we put in a lot of energy and effort to do the things that the case needed. And we were actually able to settle that case for just under $2.4 million after a year of work. And so again, the big firm had tried to settle it for $750 at the most. They probably would have taken somewhere like half of that number if I had to guess. But we get in, put in a year's worth of time and effort and settle it for just under $2.4 million. So I think those cases are really good examples of the factory firm or fast food model, as I referred to it, compared to the tailored firm approach. And I can't stress enough how important it is. A personal injury case is normally a life-changing event. And so you really want to be particular and selective on the firm that you hire to handle that case.